Welcome, ladies and gents, and our friends beyond the binary. We're the first ever globe-trotting, visually stimulating podcast on the airwaves. Hello, loves. It's Soraya Vivian. I'm your official tour guide for our new show, Pride This Way, produced by Pillars of Change Media. For years, I've had the best seat in the house for Pride festivals around the world, from Manchester to Maspalomas and everywhere in between, and amplify the real stories that breathe life into Pride. Every stream, every subscriber directly funds our community around the globe. We're not just covering the party, loves, we're paying it forward. There's only one way to see the world. Pride This Way.
Is this thing on? Are we live yet?
When you're walking down Commercial Street, you'll smell salt in the air. See drag queens barking, urging folks to buy tickets to their shows, and then you'll spot a dog dressed in drag like it's the most normal thing in the world. And it is. Because this is Provincetown, America's gayest safe harbor at the very tip of Cape Cod. Underneath the sequence, though, is a very real question for 2026. How do we protect Provincetown, this queer safe harbor, in a political climate that's increasingly hostile to the rainbow community? Today on Pride This Way, we're taking you inside Provincetown Pride, stitching together conversations with the people who live and work here, and they're fighting to keep this town queer, accessible, and alive for the next generation.
I'm very excited about our next guest, who is the executive director of the Provincetown Business Guild. And I have to tell you, the Business Guild, I know, they are the cool kids that make all the decisions about when everything is happening in Provincetown. It's the party planning committee. So I'm very excited to say hello to Rachael.
Hi.
Thank you for being the party planner of Provincetown.
Hey, I love that. Some people call me the mayor, which is not really true at all, but I like party planner better.
Party planners are great, yes.
Thank you for having me.
This is very exciting. You have been doing this for 7 years, correct?
In some respects, yes. I've been involved with the Provincetown Business Guild, aka PBG, because it's just easier to say. Since 2018, I started as the organization's publicist, like handling their public relations, and I also did some other marketing.
What's so wonderful about Provincetown is every week there's some kind of nod to some organization, and I love that.
We call them theme weeks.
Theme weeks.
And we produce a good amount, but we also help promote and support other event producers that also produce theme weeks or produce events during specific theme weeks.
Mm-hmm.
For example, like Women's of Color weekend is this weekend right now, the same as Provincetown Pride. Right. So we don't produce that, but this year's their 20th anniversary. So we've been sort of helping promote and celebrate them because it's a pretty awesome milestone.
The interesting thing to me about Pride in Provincetown, however, is that the first Pride was in 2018. What's the challenge here? What are you trying to do with Pride right now?
So in 2018, when the PBG decided to do an official Provincetown Pride, there was a lot of conversation about that. Mm-hmm. And honestly, 8 years later, this is our 9th Pride. So I still get the same kind of questions of like, why do you need to do a Pride in Provincetown? Isn't it Pride every day? And my answer is yes, it is Pride every day, just to the extent that this is, the queerest place on earth, in my humble opinion. But it's important to still, just back in 2018 as today, it's still important to have a Pride celebration. It's important to be visible, to be loud, to talk about why Pride exists, and to not, take it for granted or rest on our laurels, even here in this very queer bubble that we live in Provincetown.
So if I was a traveler coming to Provincetown for the first time, mm-hmm. What would you want me to know? Buckle up.
Well, I mean, to be honest, this happens, and I often will ask, like, well, what time are you planning on coming? I mean, there's so many different types of experiences that you can have here, depending on what you want and what you're into. I think for someone that has never been to so let's say it's somebody from the queer community and they have never been here. The thing I always like to say is, obviously, if they're already coming here, I don't have to sway them. But for people that I do need to sway, I always say that Ptown should be on every LGBTQ plus person's travel bucket list. And the reason is because you come here and this is not a gayborhood. This is not like going to Chicago and Boys Town or going to the Castro in San Francisco or Philadelphia. This is not a major metropolitan city with like a gay enclave. The neighborhood is this entire town. And walking down Commercial Street that first time, you know, you don't ever have to think twice about what you're wearing, who you're holding hands with, who you might be, you know, kissing. Like it's all just literally when we say like you can be yourself, you can be your 100% authentic self. As cliche as those phrases are, it's super true. Like and that is something that I always like to remind people coming here, because it's not just about the nightlife or the theme weeks or the pool parties or even the beach and, you know, the coastline. It's also about like being in this magical place that literally is like the biggest gay queer hug you'll ever get in your life.
Comedian Kristen Becker brings more than just belly laughs. She's the one throwing tomatoes at extremists and gay bashers. She founded Summer of Sass, a nonprofit that helps relocate vulnerable 18 to 20-year-old LGBTQ plus folks from hostile environments and offers them housing and jobs in Ptown for the summer.
Hi, it's Jason, coming to you from Provincetown, and I'm already laughing because I'm so excited for you guys to meet this person. She's a comedian and she's the founder of a fantastic nonprofit organization that we will get into called Summer of Sass.
Hi! Today we have 3 thongs for $19.99.
Are you talking? Listen, kitty. I can go to Target, get 3 pairs of underwear for $8. They are all gonna become thongs eventually.
Hello, thanks for having me.
I'm so excited. Summer of Sass, I've been looking forward to talking to you about it. How did that idea come to you?
So I was raised in Shreveport, Louisiana.
Right.
And I was actually on tour doing comedy in Shreveport. And there was an article in the paper about a kid who was graduating high school early because he was being bullied so much, right? This was right after the first Trump election, 2017. And his mom was like, the kid's name was Teddy. And his mom was like, hey, I'm going to pull my kid out of high school because he's being bullied so much. And it was in the paper in the Shreveport Times. And this was about 20 years after I graduated high school. And the idea that I was in my hometown where I'd grown up and a kid was having my experience 20 years later just really stuck with me. That like, wow, nothing has changed here, right? And I was living in Provincetown and I knew how much better I felt here, just in my brain, in my skin, in my in all of it. Just I felt so much safer. And then we had a president who was talking about canceling visas and workers. And I was like, why aren't we finding American kids who need summer jobs and letting them experience this space? So let's find all of our LGBTQ 18 to 20-year-olds, bring them up here and let them fill these roles and these jobs and get them out of environments that are really damaging to their mental health. And so that was it. That was the first. That's how it started.
He was our first Sasser?
Yeah, we call them Sassers. Yeah, because they're adults, right? They're 18, but they're, you know, a lot of people call them kids,
right?
But they're not quite, I call them toddler adults.
Yeah.
Right? Like they kind of run at everything, like they know what they're doing, but they're not really quite sure, but they're going full steam ahead, right? And then you're like, then they burn themselves. You're like, we told you, you know?
We had the opportunity to sit down with a Sasser, Salem, and he shared with us about the experience and the challenges of being a trans youth in America today.
We have a lot of Sassers who are like have never had a job, have never been in like a gay bar or experienced queer culture at all. Atlanta's pretty good about that stuff, so I've had that kind of experience. I've had multiple jobs. So I was mostly just looking for people like me to connect with, because you don't see a lot of trans people in Atlanta. You don't see a lot of people talking about it, or it's not actively accepted. So it's really nice to be able to live and thrive in a community that's like right off the bat accepting, and
what's your name?
You see people like you walking down the street, and that's just the normal here. Like you don't have to go searching for it.
Vice calls Summer of Sass the kind of formative experience that can change or save lives.
Yes.
Have you heard directly from participants?
Oh, 100%.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, totally. I mean, people who live in Provincetown maybe forget, but someone who's in Texas or in Mississippi or Georgia or whatever kind of understands the level of oppression that they kind of experience on a day-to-day basis. And I've had many Sassers. On our 5-year anniversary, we brought a bunch of folks back from the previous 5 years. And almost all of them said that at one point they had, suicidal ideations, or I had one Sasser who I think was on the brink the night that she called. And then when you take someone out of an environment that tells them they'll be nothing and they're worth nothing, and then you drop them in a place that says, hey, you're fine, we're all like you, don't worry about it. It really does alter your sense of self, your sense of who and what you can become in this world. And it gives you confidence in a way that, a lot of people try to take from you through hatred and bullshit. Can I say bullshit? I don't think people understand how much energy goes into how you present and how you go through the world. And I think the reason I started the work was I was talking to a friend of mine from college, and we're all grown-ups now. And she was taking a Xanax every day. They were taking a Xanax every day before they went to work, because they knew that their boss was a born-again Christian, and they knew if they fucked up the pronouns of their partner at work, they might get fired. And so it's that kind of stuff that you don't realize. Like, people hear microaggression and they're like, oh, we got this wrong, we got a name wrong. It's also this way of living that you go through life, hiding these parts of you, medicating yourself to calm your nerves so that you don't accidentally share a thing about yourself that will be detrimental to your livelihood and your home and the way you feed yourself,
Loosen the Bible Belt is a tour of variety. There's going to be some music. There's going to be some stand-up comedy. There's going to be some preaching. Now, here's the thing. I'm a stand-up comedian. Jay Baker, son of Tammy Faye, is a preacher. I know that there are some people who are here to hear my lesbian jokes. There's some people to hear about Jesus. So we find that we often have a weird mix of people. So here's how it's going to work. I'm going to tell some jokes, and then we have a lovely lady named Samantha Ruddy from New York City. She's going to tell some jokes, and we have a special guest. Well, you're going to go first, Henri. And then we have a musician, and then Jay's going to give you some Jesus. And then after Jay gives you the Jesus, and when I come back up and go, if y'all don't want to hear fisting jokes, now's the time to leave. And then we get real dirty and gay at the end, and that's how it works. And somehow we've all managed to get along.
So you did the Loosen the Bible Belt with Pastor Jay Baker.
Yeah.
He seems very cool.
He's lovely. It was that tour that we were in Shreveport. I had done some advocacy work in Louisiana and realized that I don't speak Bible. And when people's debate about your existence is based in Bible, how do you win an argument in a language you don't speak?
You have to know it just as well as they do.
You have to know as well as they do. Yeah. And so I was like, I'm going to need a straight white guy for this. And so, I found one in Jay Baker. Do you know how I met him?
No.
I tweeted at him.
You did?
I tweeted, I like the cut of your jib. A very Southern term that people know, and it got his attention. But about 2 months later, we met at the Dallas airport and got into a van for 3 weeks together, trying to live by example that you can live with people who maybe believe differently than you do, and you could even do it in a smelly van for an extended period of time. And if we can do that, can you people sit in a room together and learn from each other?
How fun.
It was wild. A lot of the time, same with Summer of Sass and Loosen the Bible, I didn't realize the impact it would have. But when you go to a performance, rarely are you ever sitting next to somebody who's experiencing a completely different emotion than you are in real time. Right? So it was my audience, lesbian, atheist, comedian fans, and Christian pastor fans. And we had a band or a musician. We'd have an atheist comic. We'd have all this stuff. But Jay would preach Jesus. He would preach the Bible. And in the audience, when I was telling my dirty lesbian fisting jokes, his audience was very uncomfortable. Yeah. But it wasn't like it was a wedding. We didn't segregate where everyone was sitting. Everybody was mixed in, right?
Oh, that was my head. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, okay. But no, it's just everybody go sit. And so imagine you're in this live performance and the person next to you is laughing really hard while you're really uncomfortable. And then 20 minutes later, you're really uncomfortable because the guy on stage is talking about Jesus and the person next to you is really feeling it in their soul, right? And it created this energy in the room that afterwards, everybody wanted to talk to everybody else. Wow. Everybody really wanted to just share their experience. And we realized that the polarization of, sometimes church and the queer community, if we can just kind of get everybody in the same room, the humanity gets to rise to the top.
Let's flip to the tourist side of Provincetown, where the views are gorgeous and everything costs just a little bit more than you planned. It's a Technicolor queer dream. Beaches, parties, performances. But like any true queer haven, there's always a bit of grit behind the glitter. In this segment, we're talking with Sutton Lee Seymour. about the legendary art house, who does all the work, and where did she get those shoes. Welcome to Provincetown. Wish you were spending more.
Hi, it's me, it's Jason, coming to you from Provincetown here at the Art House. And the Art House is a multifunctional, theatrical place here in Provincetown that we've decided to call it.
Yeah, well, we got cabarets and drag shows, burlesque shows, movies.
It was a lot for me to say, wasn't it, right?
It's a mouthful, some might
Yes,
say.
and this, according to the name badge, thank you, is Prescott producer.
Yes.
He is with the Art House, apparently.
I am one of the co-producers of the Art House here in Provincetown.
Yes, and a fun little fact, also one of the stars of the Art House as well, too, as you go by another name of
Sutton Lee Seymour.
Sutton Lee Seymour.
Well, just sing it.
Yeah, just sing it. That's all I'm going to do now.
Can you sing it? Sing it.
I can sing it poorly. And
do it.
Sutton Lee Seymour. There you go. You're welcome.
It's perfect. I've worked here 5 seasons total as a guest performer, but I've been here doing the full seasons for this is my 3rd year. It's crazy. I've realized in our very straight-laced world, Provincetown is more or less our gay suburbia. I'm on the road a lot. And so coming back to Provincetown gives me a real strong sense of community. I write a new show every year because we're in a traditional theatrical setting and you make a name for yourself. You want to create a new theme every year. For instance, this year my theme is a drag version of Superman called Superman. We're trying to save the world with drag because the world needs saving. So this is our first season. Me and my co-producer, Kevin, AKA Misconception. It's our first season as producers, but the Art House has been here. This is our 20th anniversary. Even though it is our first season as producers, we are celebrating the fact that this has been an established artistic venue for the community of Provincetown. My philosophy as a drag performer, and I say this to every drag performer, is anybody can wear a wig, anybody can wear heels, but the drag has to be the punctuation mark of your statement. You have to be the statement piece. It's the old thinking of like, you have to wear the dress, don't let the dress wear you. Same rules apply, right? Listen, if I've learned anything about the LGBTQ plus community, we have perseverance.
Yeah.
We have endurance, and we will keep moving forward, and we'll keep
finding
growing.
a way.
Yeah.
Keep finding a way by communicating and knowing what's going on.
Well, and because our community is so based in love, and embracing each other and understanding each other, I think that's what sets us apart. We're not here to tear anybody down. We're here to just be ourselves.
All you need is love, right?
Hit it!
When human rights are under attack, what do we do?
35-year-old Errol Royston lives in St. Louis. He says he's been on testosterone for 8 years now. When he heard about an emergency order filed by Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey, he says he felt like it was an attack on trans people.
So my mind is trying to comprehend all of it. So the first part was anger. The second part was just how do I help my community? Then thirdly, it was what am I going to do?
Our Sasser, Salem, talked us through his gender-affirming hormone treatments and how, for him, the needles are the easy part.
So we were talking about piercings. I said, I'm so deathly afraid of needles. So it's ironic that I have certain piercings in my body. And you were saying with your needle adventure, with your
testosterone,
right?
So a lot of people are terrified by the process of starting testosterone and starting their transition. I have a lot of housemates who haven't even thought about that process. And I love educating them and helping them go through that process because it is hard to talk about. So for me personally in Georgia, it was a lot easier than I thought it was. A lot of people set it up to be this extremely hard, grueling process, but it's not. If you find a gender clinic to go to, all the doctors are extremely friendly. You can get your prescription, you get blood work. And then the process with actually taking your testosterone, you can either take it intramuscularly, which is usually in the thigh, and it's a pretty long needle. So most people don't do that. Or I take mine subcutaneously, which is a smaller needle, and it goes right in my stomach right here. And so it's just a little 45-degree angle. It's a lot easier. It's a needle. You're putting a needle in your body, but it's a lot easier than people really think because you are putting tension on the skin, so you don't feel it as much. It's just that mental block you have to get over. But once you start, I I've only been on T for 2 months now, and I feel more like myself than I've ever had before. Yeah.
Good.
My voice has dropped significantly already. Just feel like myself.
Oh, good. Well, thanks for being on Pride This Way with me. Appreciate you having your time.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Say goodbye to the audience. Goodbye.
Bye.
Pride This Way, serving joy in every time zone. We did it.
Thank you, Pride This Way, for choosing the Provincetown Business Guild for the Pay It Forward program. We really appreciate it, and thank you for having us on this podcast.
Now it's time for outtakes.
Oh, it's some of our fans. This is average commercial street. Ow! You zapped me. I have to make it.
Find me at pridethisway.com. Visit pridethisway.com, serving joy in every time zone. Excellent job. You could be an announcer, not even a cover.
Pride This Way, serving joy in every time zone.
Pride This Way.
I forgot where I was going to.
Pride This Way, serving joy in every time zone. Wow, we did that really well together.
In our next episode, part 2 in Provincetown, we're basically handing you a queer VIP wristband, front row drag, reckless shopping, and lesbian-owned everything. We also sit down with State Senator Julian Cyr to talk about how he's stepping up for Massachusetts and who's been sleeping on the job in D.C.
Join us bi-weekly for a new episode.
Pride This Way, serving joy in every time zone.
Subscribe, download, pay it forward.